So you've got the Sony FX3 and there's 80 million, and that 80 million, it goes to picking the best lenses, which I've not seen anyone talking about. So there is a film called The Creator, and I know most of you know the film as the one that was shot on a Sony FX3. And guys, you are right, but let me tell you what is important for me. It is the man behind the film, Mr. Gareth Edwards. And sir, welcome back, because we have not seen you for such a long time. And for you that doesn't know who I am talking about, if you've watched Monster 2010 or Godzilla 2014, Star Wars in 2016, that is the man behind The Creator. And honestly, since then we have not seen him for such a long time on screen, and I guess he's been working behind the scene to try and bring something new to the table. And why am I saying new? Because this story is actually very raw, it's not connected to anything, and there's not a book that I know about this story. And listen, Mr. Edward, you got all of us, and people are getting crazy, especially the Sony community, because everyone is talking about, hey, this is a film that was shot on my camera. And guys, I know you guys are right, but let me tell you something that you are forgetting. It's almost like you're seeing a Picasso picture and you're focusing on a brush that he used to paint that picture rather than the skills of the man himself. And honestly, Edward's visual storytelling has been amazing, and obviously if you guys know his work, you will know what I am talking about. And I can imagine there have been so many conversation around testing different cameras, seeing which one would work, and preparing everything. I'm talking from location, lighting, color palette, got all the props, the makeup, the VFX and everything. And then they say, well, what camera can we use to make sure that basically we sell the whole experience around this story? And I can imagine them like, F it, we are going to use the Sony FX3. And listen, this is where everyone is getting crazy, because he used the FX3 for its reason of the camera being very light, which is actually true, and the camera is very good in low light, which is actually true, and the color science of the camera is good. But that is where I would say yes and no. But obviously if you use an external recorder like they did, you get the best out of this camera, because I can imagine they use something like a Ninja V or whichever monitor they use, and I don't know if they show in RAW or just getting their 10-bit ProRes or 12-bit ProRes or whichever bit rate they go from that camera. Listen, that did an amazing job. And one thing that I want you guys to think about is there was so many things to support this camera sensor for it to be able to produce the image that it produced. And remember guys, there is $80 million behind that. So you've got the Sony FX3 and there's 80 million, and that 80 million, it goes to picking the best lenses, which I've not seen anyone talking about. Everyone is focusing on this was shot on my camera. But hey, do you know what lenses they use? They use the Atlas, they use the Koa, and these lenses alone, God, they are such expensive, and the characteristics of the lenses are really good, and they use the best lighting. As you know, film is a combination of everything. We talk about the best lighting, the best location, the best costume, the best makeup, the best props, the best sound, and then you pick the best lenses. And lenses are the eyes of the camera. And you know, the good thing about lenses is that when it comes to lenses, you can't really change their look, character. You can't change their chromatic aberration. You can't change their characteristic. But when it comes to sensor, you can pair them with a very good sensor, and then it will be able to do the job. So yes, I understand. So many people are excited about this movie being shot on their camera, but sir, what you don't have is 80 million dollars to spend. And honestly, one thing that I need to say about this again, that 80 million, there's so much that would help to make sure that that camera looks really good. And today in 2023, I feel like any camera could have done that job if they had that big budget behind it. But for me, the most important is the man behind the movie, which is Edward, and he's really knowledgeable when it comes to the visual storytelling game, and he knows what he would get. And I feel like the whole thing of focusing on a small camera was due to him wanting to be very fast. And you know, big cameras, they take too long to change lenses, too long to, if you power them off, and to turn them on, they take time. And he did not want that. And because there's like a lot of tech, and it's almost like a dance, the film move fast, and also the camera must also be fast and light so they can keep up. And I was talking to a friend of mine, right, and he said, yo, there is this film that is shot on the Sony FX3, which is crazy. And I asked him, wait, what is the storyline? He didn't actually know, but he just know the film that was shot on the Sony FX3, which got me thinking, like, bro, you not even focusing on a storyline. And if you are like my friend, listen, this is a good movie. A storyline is, like I say, is quite good, and there's a combination of like AI, there's a combination of like this superhuman soldier, and also for me, it's giving me, by the way, I don't want to ruin the film for you. I want you to go and watch it and experience it in your own way, and then I'm not here to ruin it. And basically, it's giving me like the Roger Deakins Blade Runner, or the Blade, no, Roger Deakins. I need to stop attaching Roger Deakins to Blade Runner, but it's giving me the Blade Runner's vibe, because that's the thing that I remember when I saw it. But again, it was shot on a Sony FX3, and it's an amazing movie. But before you just go and get the FX3, just remember there's 80 million dollar behind the project. But listen, this movie was shot on FX3. Go and buy it and go and create.